Tehran rearming Hamas in the shadows? Iran smells opportunity while the Middle East licks its wounds. Hamas is down, but not out, say Israeli spies as Tehran plots its comeback. Ceasefire or ticking time bomb? Will this fragile calm explode into another war before anyone sees it coming? Blood, bullets, and betrayal. And now an eerie calm has descended over the Middle East. After 2 years of devastating conflict between Israel and Hamas, both sides, along with their regional backers, are licking their wounds and recalibrating for what comes next. For Iran, the pause offers opportunity. With the fall of Bashar al-Assad in Syria, Hezbollah's defeat in Lebanon, and Hamas severely weakened, Tehran finds itself increasingly isolated. Yet, experts warn that this isolation is unlikely to last. Israeli intelligence sources, cited by The Sun, claim Iran is attempting to rearm Hamas and restore its regional axis of influence, a move viewed by analysts as a prelude to another confrontation with Israel. Raz Zimt, a former officer in the Israel Defense Forces military intelligence, believes Iran is already maneuvering to fill the vacuum.
There has been no indication that Iran has given up the idea of a so-called forward defense strategy, meaning to try and help its allies in the region, either financially or through weapons. From the Iranian point of view, this is certainly presented as a temporary weakness. And Iran certainly will look for any kind of opportunity in the future to rebuild its axis.
In a signal that fresh conflict may be looming, Ali Akbar Velayati, a senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, hinted that the ceasefire in Gaza could trigger renewed hostilities elsewhere.
The start of the ceasefire in Gaza may be the behind-the-scenes end of the ceasefire somewhere else.
Despite Tehran's heavy losses in Syria and Lebanon, Dr. Zimt maintains that Iran's leadership remains ideologically and strategically committed to the destruction of Israel and the pursuit of nuclear weapons. Under US President Donald Trump's 20-point peace plan, Hamas must surrender all weapons to ensure Israel's security. But the group's survival, even in a diminished state, is seen in Tehran as a victory.
Israel should be aware of the fact that Hamas is down but not out, and Iran is already trying to reconstitute its strategic capabilities and has not given up the idea of the destruction of the State of Israel. So, I think it should be considered by Israel as a temporary situation.
According to Israeli estimates, some 23,000 Hamas fighters have been killed since the war began, out of a force once numbering around 30,000. Still, Iran views the organization's endurance as validation of its long-term proxy strategy. While regroups, Washington is working to ensure the truce holds. US Vice President J.D. Vance has downplayed renewed violence in Gaza, describing it as part of the inevitable turbulence of a fragile peace.
Well, look, it's going to be complicated. I mean, the best case scenario, meaning if this thing absolutely produces that sustainable long-term peace that the president and I hope that it will, there are going to be fits and starts. There are going to be, Hamas is going to fire on Israel. Israel's going to have to respond, of course. There are going to be moments where you have people within Gaza where you're not quite sure what they're actually doing. So we think that it has the best chance for a sustainable peace. But even if it does that, it's going to have hills and valleys, and we're going to have to monitor the situation.
Vance also urged Gulf Arab nations to step up security efforts to verify that Hamas is indeed disarmed, a critical element of Trump's plan. President Donald Trump, for his part, confirmed that the ceasefire remained in effect following renewed clashes in Rafah that killed 2 Israeli soldiers and injured 3 others. Israel retaliated with airstrikes against 20 Hamas targets. Speaking aboard Air Force One, Trump appeared to temper his usual rhetoric, suggesting that the Rafah attack may not have been sanctioned by Hamas leadership.
We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with Hamas, and as you know, they've been quite rambunctious. They've been doing some shooting, and we think maybe the leadership isn't involved in that. Some rebels within, but either way, it's going to be handled properly. It's going to be handled toughly, but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
The president insisted Washington was working to ensure the ceasefire remains peaceful and reiterated his threat to forcibly disarm Hamas if it reneges on the agreement. Behind the scenes, the most dramatic diplomatic breakthrough came not on the battlefield, but over the phone. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's apology to his Qatari counterpart, Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani, for an Israeli strike in Doha on September 9th marked a pivotal moment. According to US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, who spoke on CBS's 60 Minutes, Netanyahu's apology under Trump's watch helped unlock the ceasefire and hostage release deal.
It was the linchpin that got us to the next place. It was really, really important that it happened.
Netanyahu's subsequent apology, reportedly made during his White House visit on September 29th, convinced Qatar to return to the negotiating table. Trump's administration quickly unveiled its Gaza peace framework, claiming both Israel and the Arab world had endorsed it. Jared Kushner, Trump's senior advisor and son-in-law, offered rare insight into the post-war talks, revealing that Hamas was cooperating, at least for now, in the recovery of hostages' remains.
As far as we've seen from what's being conveyed to us from the mediators, they are so far acting in good faith. That could break down at any minute. But right now, we have seen them looking to honor their agreement.
Kushner said that as of October 10th, Hamas had returned 12 of the 28 deceased hostages, blaming the delay on Gaza's widespread destruction. In one of the most human moments of the truce negotiations, US envoy Steve Witkoff recounted meeting Hamas leader Khalil al-Hayya in Egypt, an extraordinary encounter between a US official and a member of a designated terror organization.
When I entered the room for the meeting with the Hamas delegation, I found myself sitting directly next to al-Hayya. We spoke about the loss of our sons, a shared pain that, even briefly, reminded us of our humanity amid all this devastation.
As Washington tries to stabilize the ceasefire, Iran watches closely, recalculating its next move. Its proxies lie weakened but not vanquished, and its ambitions, from Gaza to Beirut to Damascus, remain undimmed.